So today, some of you guys thought it would be interesting if I reacted to a video called American Girls versus European Girls, because I am a European girl, obviously being from Ireland. Geographical awareness, Before we get into the video, I'd be most appreciative if you would share, like, comment, subscribe, all those things YouTubers ask you to do, because if you don't, an Irish curse will befall you, and that curse will be that you will think that you have dried your underpants, but you will not have fully dried your underpants, and you will be forced to walk around in soggy, damp underpants all day, and that's an unpleasant experience which you could avoid if you did all those things like subscribe, comment, share. Yeah. Here we go.
Separated by the Atlantic Ocean, American women aren't much different from their European cousins, but it's almost impossible to compare women from all across Europe, as the continent covers a real range of nationalities, cultures, and ethnicities. So be warned that this show may make some broad generalizations, which we hope you'll excuse. What we're attempting to do today is compare European and American women. What makes them tick? How do they behave? And what are the similarities and differences between them? That's what we'll try to find out in today's infographic show, as we look at American girls versus European girls.
Okay, so first off, I completely empathize with having to do that disclaimer. I find that on every channel I've worked on, my own channel, other channels, you get people saying, oh, you can't generalize. And it's like, well, what fun would it be if we didn't generalize? Obviously, they're not going to be referring to every single European woman or every single American woman. They're just talking in general, and I can relate. Oh my God, the amount of times you get comments that are like, well, I don't. Of course not.
We're not a beautiful or unique snowflake. We're the same decaying organic matter as everything else.
Just like Brad Pitt said.
Before breaking down the differences between the sexes, let's take a look at the general similarities and differences between Americans and Europeans. As we all probably know, Europeans and Americans share a whole bunch of similarities owing to ancestral lineage and cultural similarities. They both have a broad commitment to democratic principles and share economic alliances. Both continents enjoy reasonably high standards of living and are considered developed by the rest of the world.
Broadly speaking,
there are some differences when it comes to religious quirks, free expression, sense of entitlement, and the morality concept. Americans believe that they are generally in control of their destiny, whereas the rest of the world, except the UK, accept that powers outside of their control are dependent upon their success. Americans are generally more independent and ambitious.
Okay, I'm gonna say on that note, I don't know if that's entirely accurate, but I get where they're coming from with it.
In a 2014 Pew survey, 57% of Americans believe their success
That's something
is
I
in their
really
own
like about
hands.
Americans.
Yet Americans, at just over half
the American
population,
dream
see
idea.
religion as more important than their European cousins do. In France, only 14% of people consider religion important, compared with 53% in the USA. World statistics show that there is a strong link between people's religiosity and their wealth. Religion is generally more important to countries with lower GDPs.
Interesting.
Almost 40% of Americans feel that sex between unmarried couples is immoral, whereas in the EU it is less of an issue. So are American women more
coming
prudish?
from Ireland,
well, it depends on who
it's
you
a new
talk
concept
to and where
that's
you are.
novel.
Many American women are the complete opposite of prudes, being independent and fun-loving in multiple situations. So with all of these observations, please note that they are just that, observations and not rules.
They're talking in general, we get it.
Some of the differences. Both America and Europe are big places, and while it's easy to generalize about people and places, it's also fair to say that American women have more in common with American women, and the same is true for European women with European women. The only real oddity in Europe is the UK, where women seem to behave more like Americans rather than their European cousins. But in general, there are some uniform similarities that separate Europeans from Americans.
Irish girls
in terms of
are
attitude
similar
and
to
behavior.
American girls in a lot of ways,
Women
I
are
think,
more
too.
uniform. In Rome or Barcelona, women normally wear a skirt of similar length, a pair of reasonably high heels, a blouse or top, and long, beautiful hair.
Attire,
in America and in London, however, women come in many different styles. Thin women, overweight women, women in goth or emo garb with black eyeliner and dyed hair. Americans seem to adopt the counterculture more readily, whereas European women tend to adopt a more traditionally feminine style.
I would say that
is
true. I would say that is
to see
true.
a girl with a mohawk and a skateboard on the New York subway or the London Underground. whereas this would be considered unusual in, say, Budapest. While Americans dress for comfort,
Well, I don't know about
European
Budapest,
women are
but
conscious of class and fashion.
I mean,
Even
I've
if they're
seen
simply walking to
funky-looking
the store
girls
or going to the
in
gym,
general around
Europeans
Ireland and
dress for
Spain.
style, and unless they are on the beach, most European women wouldn't consider wearing flip-flops or thongs. Unless they are participating in sports or working out, sneakers are not normally worn by Europeans. European women
That's
tend
not
to wear
true.
flats with
That's
closed
not
or
true.
open toes or high heels in most everyday situations. However, unlike most rules, there are exceptions. For social gatherings, American women will dress just as smart as their European counterparts and often outstyle them. Women in Europe are generally more educated than in America. University education is more affordable in Europe, with many countries
yes, that
having
is
free
true.
college programs. This doesn't mean that European women are any more intelligent than American women, but they
Definitely
generally have the
not.
opportunity to learn more in Europe. Most European women speak at least 2 languages, and sometimes
Yeah,
as many as 5
a
or
lot
6.
of Europeans speak a lot of
generally have a
languages.
good understanding
Not
of
me.
history
Well, I
and
can speak
geography
a few,
outside
a
of their
little
own
bit.
countries, and most Europeans have traveled to other countries before they reach their teenage years. Separated from the
Yes.
world by 2 oceans, many Americans never leave their country of birth. Bizarrely, and
Because it's
despite
so
their
big
lack
and
of
there's so much
travel,
diversity.
American women are often more independent than European women. In social situations, American women tend to be more outgoing and curious, making them more fun at parties and social gatherings. Americans have a sense of adventure and liberty unmatched by women from other nations. In the States, a second or third marriage isn't uncommon, but looking at divorce statistics from 2014, Belgium, Spain, Portugal, Luxembourg, the Czech
There's so much
Republic, and
divorce
Hungary
here
all
in
had
Spain.
worse
There's
divorce
so much divorce. Ireland, it's still a pretty new concept, so it's not that high there.
America has problems with obesity among the young. This is not as much a problem in Europe at present. Of course, our perception of what is beautiful is a personal
At
choice.
present, true. Western society is having a problem with obesity, to be honest.
In Amsterdam, the average commuter might be surrounded by slim and attractive women. In Eastern Europe, the Balkans, and former Soviet satellite countries, it's possible to wander around for a while without encountering an overweight, unattractive female.
That is so true. Here in Spain, there are like hardly any overweight people.
American women are often more wary of advances from strangers. European women often feel that being seduced is an appealing validation of their sexual attractiveness and fertility rather than a violation of their rights. A European woman will normally tell you straight up if they're interested in dating and
Yes.
won't subscribe to what is termed flaky behavior. When it comes to
That is
dating and
true.
hanging out, an American girl might be flirtatious and open about her feelings. Americans like to call things as they see them. Europeans, on the other hand,
Americans
may
are
be
very
more
straight
reserved
up.
and mysterious about their feelings. A guy dating
Yes,
a European woman may have
100%.
to rely on his spider senses to unlock the mysterious puzzle that's in her mind. As we
Very
mentioned
true.
above, these generalizations cannot be proven by science, so we need your input to
Science.
keep the discussion moving. So join in the discussion.
That was really interesting. I think there were some accuracies, some inaccuracies. I think definitely in Ireland we're kind of between American culture and European culture, so there's that. But here in Spain, for example, I do notice the women dress a lot more smart. And as I said, in general, I don't see a lot of overweight people here in Spain as much as I see them in Ireland and definitely in America. I feel like people, maybe it's to do with the weather and having to wear less clothes, but like people are in really good shape here. Like here, I feel like I'm in like really bad shape compared to everybody else. Maybe you shouldn't eat 3 ice creams in a day. Just saying. When it comes to dating, yes, I think American women are a lot more direct about what they want, and also they say what they mean to an extent. I'm sure some of you will argue. Let me know below in the comments what you think about that. But European women definitely try to maintain an air of mystique. I do think that's true. I think this channel did a really good job of generalizing, and that's what it is, generalizing. But I appreciate the video and I appreciate where they're coming from. So it was interesting to hear their insights. I'd like to hear your insights into what you think the differences are between American and European women. Even if you haven't been out of America or out of Europe, just what have you seen in culture, on TV, on films and stuff like that? I'd like to know. Hi! We want to say a massive thank you to the Karmic Goals crew over on Patreon who make videos like this possible. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, don't we, buddy? Yes, I appreciate you. Wow, it's amazing how your lips don't move when you talk to you. Am I boring you? I'm sorry. Say thank you to our friends. Thank you. Wow, just amazing. Thank you so much. See you on the other side. Bye. Do you want to get down? You actually seem very happy where you are. You gonna go sleep? Yeah? Did we go to the vet this week who said you're a little bit fat? A little bit fat? You're gonna work on that? Going for more walks and things? Yes, going for more walks and things. What do you think of American and European women? You just love everybody. Loves everybody.